Welcome to View from the Top of the Goalpost, Day 2. Today we are predicting AFC and NFC North, and might as well just get right into it. Who do you got? AFC North, 4th place. Bet you it's the same team as me.
I probably do. But before we jump into who we have this year, let's
that makes
turn
sense.
the page back and go with who we had last year. Last year, we agreed on most things in the AFC North. Diesel had in 4th, Cleveland in 3rd, Pittsburgh in 2nd, Baltimore, and in 1st place, the Cincinnati Bengals. I had in 4th place, the Cleveland Browns, in 3rd place, the Pittsburgh Steelers, in 2nd place, the Cincinnati Bengals, and in 1st place, of course, with the Baltimore Ravens lock of the week each and every week, I had the Ravens winning the AFC North, which of course they did.
All right. Well, who do you got 4th this year?
Yes. So this time in 4th place, honestly, I didn't realize this until I just read last year's, but not to give a spoiler, I'll have different reasons probably this year, but my North looks very similar to it did last year. And in last place, I have the Cleveland Steamers because, boy, oh boy, until Nick Chubb comes back from his PUP stint, and until I see that Deshaun Watson isn't more than a very dirty, dirty man, I have no faith in this team. They have a great defense. They had Joe Flacco just come back last year and do stuff, but gosh, they have a nasty, nasty schedule, and I don't believe in Deshaun Watson at all. Love me some Nick Chubb, though. Can't wait for him to come back.
I actually have Pittsburgh finishing last, and I do believe this will be Mike Tomlin's first season finishing under 500. This team is a mess. They brought in Russell Wilson, they brought in Justin Fields. Russell Wilson was named the starter, I think, today as of recording, and which isn't that much of a surprise. He was, as Mike Tomlin put it, in the pole position. They also added Cordero Patterson, Van Jefferson, Scotty Miller, which, he does good against the Packers, and that's really about it. So, good pickup.
Kills them.
But they lost Kenny Pickett.
Good. That was the best thing.
Yeah, no, they lost Kenny Pickett. They lost Mitch Trubisky and Mason Rudolph. That's why they needed to get a whole new quarterback room. But they did add Dean Lowry, which I do like me some Dean Lowry. You get some of that Lowry seasoning salt all over your defense. They also added Patrick Queen, which was a good steal from the Ravens.
Just a dirty move. I can't believe Queen signed with the frickin' Cleveland Steamers.
But yeah, I don't know, man. I think that going with Russell Wilson as your starting quarterback is a mistake because you're going to get some early season losses. I know that it's not like Justin Fields lit up in preseason. They both were actually pretty bad. But, I mean, I still think your better option is Justin Fields at this point. And I think they'll realize that by, like, week 2 or 3, and they'll make the change. But, I don't know. I just don't think that it's Justin Fields' team. I think this team is actually, like, built pretty horribly on the offensive side. Defensive side, they're pretty good. But, I mean, are they going to be able to score 17 points a game? I don't know about that. That's why I don't think that they're going to do very well in this division. And I think that, Mike Tomlin's going to finish under 500, and they're probably going to agree to part ways. I think that's going to be a mutual agreement on both sides. It's been a long time. How long has he been the coach there now? 18th. This is 18th year.
There's only been 3 coaches in the history of the Pittsburgh Steelers, so it had to be a lot.
Yeah. Nolan and the guy that's on Bill Parcells, not Bill Parcells, Bill Cowher, and Mike Tomlin. Correct.
All right, well, on that note of the Steelers only having 3 coaches, who do you have at number 3 in the AFC North? Look at that effing segue. God, I'm good.
I have Cleveland at number 3 because I do agree with you about like until they get Nick Chubb back. I mean, do they still have Kareem Hunt?
No.
No.
Jerome Ford is their starting running back, who was solid last year, but is not a. I mean, he's starting running back in the NFL, I guess. So what do I know?
Oh, they got Jerry Jeudy.
Yes, they. Oh, what? When did that happen?
I don't know.
Recently?
They got Deontay Foreman too. I mean, they're not Nick Chubb. Oh, I also added Jameis Winston. So I mean, he'll probably be their starting quarterback.
At some point this year.
Yeah, I didn't really follow much of what the Browns did this year. I mean, I still like Kevin Stefanski, but yeah, I don't think that the Browns are going to be very good. I think they're just going to be a hair better than the Steelers. I think that they should have brought Joe Flacco back just for the magic. He probably wouldn't have done good, but I mean, come on, he got you to the playoffs. Like, it was an amazing story at the end of the year last year. Everybody was rooting for Flacco. And, yeah.
Even I was rooting for Fluco.
Yeah. I don't know. I just think this division is kind of like the NFC West. It's top-heavy.
Yeah, 100%. As clearly you can guess, my third-place team in the NFC North is the Pittsburgh Steelers. And as you stated, you think this is the first year that Mike Tomlin finishes with a below 500 record. I could not agree with you more. The wheels have to come off eventually. They have skirted by, like last year, the way that they beat like the Ravens and a couple of their other wins, which were so fluky, to keep them above 500 for the end of the season was absolutely wild. Just like I said yesterday, for the Chiefs, the luck has to run out at some point. Mike Tomlin ain't finishing with a winning record this year. But literally the only reason that I have them finishing ahead of the Cleveland Browns is because of Mike effing Tomlin. Like, Mike Tomlin is one of the I don't know if he's an X's and O's coach, but he is one of the greatest motivators. And I don't even play football. I don't have the body to play football. But if that man came to my house and said, Chad, you're going to get in shape and go play football for me this next year, I'd do it. Because he just seems like that kind of guy that can get anyone to do anything and like run through a wall for him. So I love me some Mike Tomlin, but yeah, the wheels got to come off. I don't believe in Russell Wilson. I love Najee Harris, but he's going to be on a new team next year. So maybe he has a really good year for the Pittsburgh Steelers. At least I can hope, because I've called for it a few times. But yeah, sans that. Sorry. TJ, hopefully you stay healthy for a whole year.
Who do you got at number 2?
Numero dos, I have the Cincinnati Bengals. You know what, folks? I love the fact that Burrow and Chase are back on the field together, but there is a lot of quarrels in Cincinnati over contracts. Jamar Chase isn't happy. I don't know if anyone in their wide receiver room is happy with what their contract status is right now. Joe Burrow got paid, but looks like a early Slim Shady, and it's weirding me out a little bit. And they keep losing pieces on their defense. Like every other day, they're losing another player on defense to an injury. I love their coaching staff. I think they're going to be really good, but I don't think that basically everyone is choosing them as their worst to first team this year. And I just don't see it. I think they're a solid team, and I think they're going to make some, waves in the AFC, but I don't think they're taking down number 1 in this division, who only got stronger in my opinion. So my number 2 team in the AFC North is the Cincinnati Bengals.
Yeah, I agree with you there too. I think that Cincinnati's good. I do have them in the playoffs as one of my wildcard teams, but I don't have them winning this division because I do believe that you're correct with the team that is going to win. Baltimore did get better in the offseason, and they were good last year. They were in the AFC Championship game last year and had the league's MVP. I do think Cincinnati is interesting because they traded away Joe Mixon. Well, then they replaced him with Zach Moss, who was really good for the Colts last year. I like Zach Moss a lot. I don't think they're really losing anything by adding Zach Moss and Joe Mixon. I even think Zach Moss might be a year younger than Joe Mixon, if I'm recollecting correctly. But yeah, they didn't really lose too much. They lost Tyler Boyd. He went to the Titans. But other than that, I think they're going to be a solid team. Joe Burrow stays healthy all year. He'll be in the runnings for MVP. Jamar Chase will be in the running for Offensive Player of the Year. I think that they'll be fine as long as Joe Burrow stays healthy. We've seen it. Like, when he's healthy, the Bengals are really good. When he's not, Jake Browning can hold them together until the dam bursts, but it's not good enough to. He's not Joe
Flacco. Is
Flacco.
Surely going to burst.
Yeah, for sure. So, got to keep Slim Shady up, and maybe they'll have a Super Bowl in their sights.
Well, with that, obviously, we both have at number one the Baltimore Ravens. What do you want to say about the Baltimore Ravens? I'll let you go first. I have talked at length about them so much that I would love to hear why you have them at number one this year.
John Harbaugh, who's a man that that I can't stand. I think he should.
We don't really like the Harbaughs on this show. Let's get honest about it. We're not fans of the Harbaughs.
Been fired. He's the worst coach. He has a Super Bowl ring, but I don't know, he just infuriates me so much. Like, all his dumb decisions, and yet they were in the AFC Championship last year.
Number one seed.
And it's not because of him. It was not because of him. But he is entering his 17th season as the head coach of the Ravens, which is nuts. Did he replace Brian Billick?
Yeah, he had to have.
Dang, that's crazy.
Right? Like, Billick had to have been there.
Wow. I don't remember anybody in between.
No.
I'm pretty sure he was on the staff. I'm pretty sure he was the special teams coach. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he got a promotion.
Yeah, he's a special teams coordinator. That's why they have the best special teams in the NFL. They have for years.
That's nuts. The Ravens are good. That's all you really need to know. I mean, they had, let's get honest. Them signing Derrick Henry was genius move. I like that move a lot for them. Derrick Henry is still a beast. He's one of those players that is once in a generation. You only get one of these guys in a generation, like Frank Gore or an Adrian Peterson or Emmitt Smith, who just keep on going and going and going, and they just never quit. And I think he still has years left in him. And I think he signed a 4-year deal with Baltimore. And I think he's going to be a beast for all 4 years. Wouldn't be surprised if he's hanging around for a couple more years with some other teams, kind of like Frank Gore did at the end of his career. But yeah, they didn't really lose much on offense. I mean, they lost J.K. Dobbins and Gus Edwards, but they weren't great. Odell Beckham, he had some moments last year, but he wasn't healthy all the way. Defense, like I mentioned before, Patrick Queen, that one hurts.
That hurts. That's the biggest loss that they had in this offseason, I feel like.
Yeah, I would agree with that. But I mean, other than that, they're stacked. They have a second best tight end. And I don't want to disrespect Mandrews like that because he's that good, but there's nobody better than Kelsey.
Nah, it's really rough. It's one of those situations where I bet Kelsey was happy that Gronk retired so that he could just be like, I'm the best tight end in the NFL now, and there's no disputing it.
But he's gonna retire as the best tight end ever just because he's just gonna have all the stats.
Yeah. Oh, he's gonna play way longer. Do you understand that Gronk and Travis Kelce are the same age?
I think I heard that. Yeah. But
same age. They're only I think 6 weeks or something like that apart.
It's nuts, but
it's freaking wild. But yeah, the only things I want to add about the Baltimore Ravens are that they are just the addition of King Henry and the fact that he now doesn't have to be a focal point of an offense. Do you understand how good Derrick Henry might be able to be when we don't have to run his wheels off for the first 15 weeks of the season because he's on a terrible Titans team and he's their whole offense? He's going to a stacked Ravens offense that can run the ball and also now suddenly has wide receivers and Mandrew still as well. Like, this is, you are right. He could now like elongate his career because I think his touches are going to go way down, but I don't think his production's going to go down at all. He's playing behind a stacked offensive line. Like, this is a just absolute fortune of riches. If the Ravens can stay healthy and stay out of their own damn way, this team is, I won't lie. There might be another Baltimore Ravens lock of the week this year, folks, because Chad might be really high on the Ravens again.
You know, I might have to join you this year because, like, them adding Derrick Henry, like, seriously, like, I do feel like it's gonna be better for Lamar Jackson, because of the fact that I don't think he's gonna have to run as much. I think that he's gonna be able to sit in the pocket because when they want to run, like, especially when they're in the red zone, they're giving it Derrick Henry. He doesn't have to take those big hits at the goal line anymore, get those passing touchdowns. Doesn't mean he won't run anymore, but, like, I think he's going to run less, which is also going to elongate his career. So I think it's a win-win for both of them.
Dude, if they incorporate any read option into their offense, like, what do you do? Who are you taking? You taking Lamar or you taking King Henry? And even if you pick one of them, how are you going to tackle that man? I've seen Lamar Jackson juke an entire defense, and I've seen King Henry run over an entire defense. So What are you going to do?
Who are you going to call? Somebody else.
Ghostbusters. Okay,
Chad,
Diesel.
I'm not going to forget this time. What was our NFC North last year?
I'm proud of you. See, it only took 1 week, and we're already in mid-season form.
That's right.
So, for the NFC North predictions for last year, Diesel and my predictions looked pretty similar, and we were both pretty spot on. Diesel nailed it with having Chicago in last, Minnesota in third, Green Bay in second, and Detroit in first.
This is my division. I mean, come on.
I had Minnesota in last because I was very spiteful about how they played the year before, and I wanted them to burn. Chicago in third, Green Bay in second, and Detroit in first. So we were both right on the top of the division.
I mean, even though they didn't finish last, Minnesota burned. They lost Justin Jefferson. They lost Kirk Cousins, not only to injury, but to free agency. They burned.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like the embers were still rolling coming into
They got JJ.
Yeah. JJ McCarthy, Addison, which is lucky that it wasn't as bad as what it originally looked to be. I almost feel bad for the Vikings, and I remember I'm a Packers fan, and I can't feel bad for the Vikings, and I just have to laugh at them. So, feels good. Obviously, with that, and that note, I have the Vikings in last place. I mean, Sam Darnold as their quarterback, he might have been the starter to begin the season, but, that they were always planning on passing to J.J. McCarthy at least halfway through. And with him getting hurt and being out for the season, doesn't bode well for you. How many times have you seen someone get hurt and then just never get an opportunity again? What if Sam Darnold has a resurgence? I'm not saying it's going to happen. I don't think it will happen. But I mean, how unfortunate would that be for J.J. McCarthy? It's nuts. The Vikings, what did they do? They added Sam Darnold, Aaron Jones, which, I mean, it hurts to see him wear purple, but I understand. I can't blame the man. He just wanted to get paid. He wanted to play football. What are you going to do? They also added Robert Tonyan, but you know what? F him. Okay? He went from...
One of them, I respect it. The other one, deuces right here.
I mean, he left the Packers, went to the Bears last year, totally shit the bed, and now he's with the Vikings. It's like, dude, just come on. You want to be there with the Packers. You're trying to stay as close as possible.
Going to the Lions next year.
They lost, like I said, Kirk Cousins. They lost Cam Akers and Joshua Dobbs. I mean, who cares about Joshua Dobbs?
Pass or not, baby.
Who did they pick up on defense?
They lost people on defense.
They lost a few people on defense, right?
Yeah.
they got Shaq Griffin.
So a bad pickup.
Who did they picked up? What's his face? He was Cowboy last year, former Patriot. I can't think of his name. Won Defensive Player of the Year.
Chandler Jones.
Corner. No.
Oh, Stephen Gilmore.
Yeah. They picked up him. So I mean, that's something. He's not on my list. That's why I couldn't say that. But
cornerback, and I knew who you were talking about.
Yeah, they're just gonna suck. Like, let's get honest. Like, they have Justin Jefferson, who is arguably, and I'm gonna say arguably, the number one wide receiver in the league. But there's another guy named Tyreek Hill that would say I beg to differ. Yeah, I don't have much good to say about the Vikings this year. I think Kevin O'Connell, is safe for this year, but I think he will probably be in the hot seat if they're gonna suck. They're gonna suck. I don't see them winning more than 5 games, to be honest with you.
So I'm going to disagree with my 4th place team. I'm going to put the Bears still in 4th place here in the NFC North. I think just like with the AFC North, that both of these Norths are very top heavy, where the top 2 teams are, they're competing for the division, and these bottom 2 teams are competing for maybe the top pick in the draft. So in saying that I think the Bears are going to be worse than the Vikings, it's not really a hindrance against the Bears or a mass endorsement of the Vikings. It's really the fact that I like a lot of things the Bears have done, but the one thing that they haven't done, and I don't understand why, is they have not addressed their offensive line in any form or fashion. Like I know they drafted Caleb Williams and Rome Odunze with their first 2 picks, so they're not taking an offensive lineman there. But like David Bakhtiari is still out there in free agency. You won't have to pay him like next to anything. The Packers are still picking up most of the tab on this contract. Like, there are offensive linemen out there. You have done nothing for your offensive line, and that was the worst part of your team last year. And that is like, how do you kill a rookie quarterback? You give him the worst offensive line in football. Like, we're going to talk about it when we talk about the AFC East, why I'm terrified for Drake May. It's the same reason. Like, you can't put a guy out there to die. And that's what I feel like the Bears are doing. They put pieces everywhere else. Like, his wide receiver core is amazing. His defense is looking solid. His running backs are fine. But who's going to block for him? Like, he's going to have no time in the pocket, and he's going to get killed back there. And I didn't love Caleb Williams coming out of USC, and I don't think that they put him in a place to succeed. And I also don't like this coaching staff, who's also on their last leg. This is their last chance. If they don't win this year, they're all gone. So I think they're all gone. And Caleb Williams is going to have to deal with a whole new staff next year. And we're going to ruin another coach or another young QB. But yeah, I have the Bears in last place. Why didn't you address your offensive line? You did everything else right this offseason, and you just didn't draft an offensive lineman or even pick someone up. I don't get it.
Yeah, I might as well move into my 3rd pick because I also have the Bears finishing 3rd. I think that they'll do a little bit better than the Vikings because, like, I just don't believe in Sam Darnold, but I'm not the biggest believer in Caleb Williams either because he plays quarterback for the Chicago Bears. One of my favorite stats ever is if you look at Jordan Love's stat line from last season, it says that not one single Bears quarterback has ever done what Jordan Love has done in one season as the starting quarterback, which is crazy to me. They're cursed when it comes to quarterbacks. Doesn't matter who they bring in there. I am a firm believer if they would have drafted Patrick Mahomes, he would have sucked balls. Getting Rome Odunze was a great pick for getting a young quarterback. Signing Keenan Allen in his twilight years is also good. He's a good locker room leader, and he's a voice for the team. I don't know how much he's going to bring on the field. I mean, he'll do a little bit, but like last year, he definitely took a step back, in my opinion. DeAndre Swift was a great pickup for them too at running back. Can't be mad at that one. if you're a Bears fan. But yeah, they didn't really do anything. They added Mr. Simone Biles to their defense, and that's what I'm going to call him because he can also get effed for like going to the enemy. I don't believe in Caleb Williams. I think he was overhyped. You see it every year. They're always overhyped. Like you rarely get like a Patrick Mahomes or a Peyton Manning or an Aaron Rodgers. I don't think that Caleb Williams is one of those guys. And I do think I don't know why Eberflus is even still the coach of this team. I don't know how he survived last season. Yeah, I just think that Bears aren't going to be very good this year. They'll probably finish about the same as they did last year. I would say 7-10 would be a fair record for the Bears.
Yeah, I think they're going to be worse than that. And truly, I think they screwed the pooch on not keeping Justin Fields. I'm a Justin Fields supporter, so that's just who I am.
Too. Even as a Packers fan, you know that I always had good things to say about Justin Fields. I don't think that they put him in the right situation. He was the most sacked quarterback, and I don't think that's going to bode well for Caleb Williams. I don't think, like you said, they didn't address the offensive line. I don't think it was because of Justin Fields that he was getting sacked so much. So, yeah, I agree with you.
My number 3 team is the Minnesota Vikings. I just believe a little bit more in Sam Darnold and the fact that they do have weapons everywhere, especially once Hawkinson and Addison are back on the field. They still have Justin Jefferson. They signed Aaron Jones. Their offensive line is leagues better than the Chicago Bears. I don't think the Vikings win many games, but I think they win a couple more than the Chicago Bears, so I have them at 3. Do you want me to do my 2 first?
Yeah, you go 2.
My number 2 team.
You're going to rip my heart out, aren't you?
The NFC North number 2 team is the Detroit Lions.
Either one you picked there was going to rip out my heart. You know that, right?
Yep. Listen, folks, I love so many things about the Detroit Lions. The coaching. They have weapons everywhere. They have a vastly underrated defense. Like, that defense has some beasts out there, and no one ever talks about the Lions defense ever, which boggles the mind. But, folks, they're playing a first place schedule this year. Their schedule is a murderer's row. They have to go on the road and play some nasty, nasty opponents. And also, besides Jared Goff, this is kind of a young team. And you know what doesn't sit well with young teams, especially going into a next year, is a crushing, and I mean vicious defeat that you should have been in the Super Bowl. And don't get me wrong, the team that is in first place in this division also had a bad defeat, but it wasn't as bad as what happened to the Detroit Lions last year. I think they're good this year. I do. I think they're still a great team. I think they're still a playoff team and everything like that. But I just see the Lions taking a little bit of a step back. And some of those close games they won last year, they don't pull out just because, man, it's hard to come back after losing a game like that to the San Francisco 49ers and having a shot at the Super Bowl in a game that you are, I guarantee, all sure that they would have won. Like, I know a few Lions fans, and they all are like, we'd have been in that Super Bowl. We'd have beat the Chiefs. We'd have beat them for sure.
I agree with everything you say. I also have Detroit at 2. I think they're a good team, but I do feel like, losing the way they lost to San Francisco is going to put like a stain on them or something. You're right. They do have a sneaky good defense that no one ever really talks about. They're definitely underrated. But they didn't do anything to get better. Their offense is pretty good, but they didn't do anything on offense. They added 2 tight ends, and they got rid of Teddy Bridgewater and Josh Reynolds. So offense is completely the same. They added DJ Reader. and Marcus Davenport, which makes their defense better for sure. And they didn't lose too much on defense. But yeah, I feel the same way you do. Like, they're the Lions. Like, they should have been in the Super Bowl last year. They blew it. They definitely blew it. And it's like Dan Campbell said it in the press conference. It's hardest to get back. And I just don't see them getting back this year. Or do I? Who knows? But I have...
Floor is yours for number one, Diesel. I will let you go first, then just add if I have anything else to say.
The Green Bay Packers. Or as Tom Grossi would put it, the Green Bay mother-loving Packers. Yeah, this team, it's so crazy. Last year at this time, not knowing like what the Packers are going to be. Even like midway through the season, like having
a 5-game losing streak.
Yeah, the 5-game losing streak. And like people were calling for Jordan Love's head. Matt LaFleur's head, I was one of them. And I still think that he shouldn't be on the hot seat, but I mean his seat should be like a little warm. Like, but I think that once they figured out who they were good. Like the second half of the season, Jordan Love was the best quarterback in the NFL. He only had one interception in the last 8 games of the season, which is crazy. Because the first 8 games, he was throwing interceptions left and right. And I feel like they improved on offense by getting Josh Jacobs. And it would be nice to have Aaron Jones and Josh Jacobs. Aaron Jones is a little bit older, and Josh Jacobs is Josh Jacobs. He's never had, in his 5 seasons in the NFL, has never had a season under 800 yards rushing, which is pretty impressive, but does mean he does have miles on him. But I'm excited for Josh Jacobs. I'm excited for this receiving core because now you got Christian Watson and Romeo Doubs in year 3, Jaden Reed, and I can't even think of his name right now. But like they're in year 2. Like then you got both tight ends, Luke Musgrave and the other one.
Wicks is the wide receiver you're looking for.
What's that?
Dontarian Wicks is the other wide receiver.
Yep, Dontavian Wicks.
Dontavian. Sorry, I said Dontarius.
Yeah, I'm very excited. Plus, the defense. Like every year, like if the Packers are bad, it's because of their defense. But they shouldn't be bad. How many like first-round draft picks they probably have more first-round draft picks on their defense than any other team. Swear to God. Like they've got to have like, I don't know, 9 of the like 12 or 11 starters have to be first-round picks. I swear. I
mean, first or second round picks. The Packers defense is littered with first and second round draft picks. So.
Xavier McKinney, which I mean, he was the best available in the free agency market at safety, and definitely top 5 in the league. I'm excited to have him in our backfield. I'm just so excited for this season. I don't think the Packers are going to be like world beaters. I could see them getting like 11 wins, 11-6, and win this because this division with Detroit, it's not going to be an easy one to win. I definitely feel like they're going to split with Detroit. I wouldn't be surprised if they split with Minnesota, but you know they're not losing to the Bears. So I am all in. Like, and I'm all in on Jordan Love too. Like, there's a lot of people that jury's still out. No. I put all my chips in the middle on Jordan Love. I'm a believer, like 100%. All you need is love. I believe it. I got a shirt that says that as well.
Yeah, I mean, the everything you said is the reason that I also think the Packers win the NFC North this year. I think that really there's the only real things that are last year they went in with no expectation. So like no matter what happened last year, in my and your opinion, we talked about it every week on the show, even when they were in the midst of that 5-game losing streak, they couldn't do any wrong last year. We all knew, even as a non-Packer fan, just as a man who lives in Wisconsin and watches all of you all Packer fans freak out all the time, that last year was supposed to be a down year. Last year was supposed to be a bad year. And the fact that they made the playoffs, house money, like they exceeded expectations beyond any ability of rationality.
Should have beat the 49ers.
And they should have beat the 49ers. And if they would have, Jordan Love would have been making at least another $10 million a year. And you know that's for sure.
Yeah.
But, so he saved the Packers a little bit of money by losing that game. He didn't lose that game, yes, but.
No. Anders Carlson.
The fact that the Packers now have a whole different set of expectations going into this year is my only major concern with them. It's going to be great to see how this very, very, very young team deals with expectations. And also, as a negative, I did put down a new defensive scheme, but then in also the positives, I put new defensive coordinator because like I know that they're switching from a 3-4 to a 4-3 and it's hard. And I want to see it in action in the actual NFL games. But the fact that they got Joe Barry out of there is the greatest win that the Packers could have hoped for in the offseason. And I have them win in the NFC North. Their schedule is not great, but it is leagues better than that number one schedule that Detroit has. And Detroit loses a few more games, I feel like, than you think. And I think the Packers win this division by a couple games.
I guess I didn't bring up the special teams. That's another worry for me. Like, if I have to say anything bad about this team, like, they brought 3 kickers into camp, and they cut 2 of them, put 1 on the practice squad, and then, as of recording today, they signed Braden Narvison, rookie that was cut by Tennessee. And it's like, great. Like, I don't understand that. Like, why would you bring these guys into camp and then you cut them both and you bring a guy you've never seen before? He did go 6 of 7 in the preseason to hit a 59-yarder, but like, I mean, he's unproven to you as a team. Like, I don't know. It's a weird thing. You'd think that they would have had a better plan going into the season. Instead of just bringing in Greg Joseph, I think they should have brought in more veteran kickers and like had a real kicking competition. And I am glad that they did cut Anders Carlson because he's just a liability. Like, and I do feel bad for the kid because like he was trying. I don't doubt that, but like he was a liability. I do believe if he would have made that field goal to go up 7 points in the playoff game against the 49ers. I don't know if the 49ers... What?
The divisional round.
Yeah, the divisional round. I don't know if the 49ers, like, they're going to have the momentum to drive down the field to score a touchdown to even tie it. You know? Like, that was a big momentum shifter when he missed that field goal. Now they're only down 4. Touchdown wins them the game. They score a touchdown. They beat the Packers. You see? Like, yeah. So, special teams is going to be something to watch out for. Hopefully we don't have to kick too many field goals this year.
Score them touchdowns, baby.
Yeah. Go for 2.
All right. Those are both of our North predictions.
So, yeah, be sure to tune in tomorrow because we will be doing the AFC and NFC South. So if you want to know when we upload, be sure to hit that bell. And while you're at it, you might as well like, share, and subscribe. And click that thumbs up here on YouTube. But I'm excited to talk about the South with you. I think South's always interesting. They're always interesting, so it's gonna be a good one.
They're basically the weakest division in both conferences, and it's weird that both of the Souths suck.
They're always the same. If one of them's good, they're both good. If one of them sucks, they both suck. It's so weird.
It's very weird.
We'll talk about that tomorrow, so tune in. But until then, I've been Diesel. He has been Chad. And we'll see you tomorrow.
Bye.
This has been a Visionaries Global Media production. Visionaries Global Media, envisioning excellence on a global scale.